I don't know about you guys, but I am a person who needs constant encouragement. That's why I'm kind of by nature an encourager. And so, yeah, go get them. Thank you. You're going to do good. Thank you. But for me, it's not that I'm kind of a pioneer in a lot of things, but a lot of things that I've done here is just because I saw a lot of people doing. And so I'm a success to some degree because I saw some other people doing it and I emulated what they were doing. Does it make sense? And so a lot of my mentors and those things. But I wanted to encourage you guys because this whole reason that we're doing this talk is so you have success through the holidays. And every single person in this room and everybody watching on the web, all of your friends, family, everybody gets this information, not only just is a little bit better, but gets into January and you're leaner, faster, stronger, healthier, better than what you are today. And it doesn't have to be just a little bit, it can be exceptional, okay? And that's why you showed up today. Not just so we go, oh, we go just get a rah-rah from Dr. David again, but actually get results. So I'm gonna bring Cheryl up here. This is, Cheryl's been in the office for a little while. She's one of our superheroes as well. So everybody give Cheryl a big round of applause. There it is, good. All right, so Cheryl came in and she had a lot of different things going on, but I'm gonna let her tell her story. So tell us how it was when you first came in the office.
Okay, well,
there you go. Hi, Cheryl.
I originally met Dr. Erb. He started coming to our church in August of last year, and he had like a 4-week, once-a-week seminar or classes that we went to, and from that I came here. I almost immediately kind of started taking baby steps because during his classes he talked about the diet and circulation and kind of covered all the bases. The main thing is I didn't jump into it all at once because I'm not good with diets and never been a really athletic person, but you know, I was definitely very overweight, and I didn't necessarily think that I ate really bad, but I knew I was eating processed stuff, and I didn't understand all of the ins and outs. Come to find out, all those foods were causing the weight. They were causing joint pain. Of course, I had other issues that, with the neck and this, that, and other, but I started small, basically cutting out my sugar. Like I said, I wasn't a big junk eater, but a lot of sweet tea, some of your fast processed foods. Not a huge bread person, but some breads, yeah. And so I almost immediately just said, okay, I'm gonna cut out my sugar, which I still I couldn't drink unsweet tea, so stevia has been my best friend. And at first, my daughter, I have a 17-year-old at home with me, she's like, Mom, this tastes weird. But it grew, now we don't know the difference. If we drink something different, we think, oh yeah, okay, regular sugar, okay, we understand. I actually carry a little portable liquid with me when I go out, but it's mainly, it's the sugar and stuff, and I've gone from 240-ish to 170. Wow. So and that's just a little over a year.
Wow. So. How about that? Is that great? Thank you so much. Give me a hug. That was awesome, by the way. So by the way, just so you know, she doesn't get up in front of people. In fact, she goes, I may pass out. You're going to catch me if I pass out? Thank you for doing that. But it's so important, I think, for all of us to get encouraged. Yes? Can I get an amen on that? Amen. We have to get encouraged. I need to get encouraged. And when you see someone like Cheryl who was struggling a bit with the same thing that you struggle with, and she's lost over 75 pounds, I mean, and not because she, had something drastic like lap band or something like this, but she just did what we talk about. So it's a good evidence, again, if she can do it, what?
We can do it.
You can do it. Okay, so that's Cheryl. Let's get started. So what are the holidays? Okay, the holidays are very simple. It's 6 to 8 days. It's basically November 1st through January 7th. But if you look at it, it's really only 3 days. I mean, it's 3 days are the holidays, but it's 3 days. But there's people who literally spend, if you add up like birthdays and July 4th and, chocolates on Valentine's Day and whatever, I mean, you start adding this up, people literally can go 90 days literally in a dietary trash pit and without exercising and just horrible. And 90 days is a fourth of the year. Do you see that? And now the research shows that the average person can lose up to 25 years off their life expectancy just because they lived during the holidays. That's not the way it was intended. You know, you have the Norman Rockwell pictures of Christmas, right? And everything's relaxed, it's not commercialized. You know, dad's up there carving a turkey, the whole deal, right? That's the way it should be. That's the way it can be again, but we have to get back away from all this craziness and then have a game plan. And the whole reason for tonight is to give you a game plan, a roadmap between now and January to get exactly what you want. So, what do you want? Right? So that's what you really, really need. And I want to be descriptive on that. Like tonight, I want to give you some SMART goals, and I'll show you what that means here in just a minute, but obtainable and specific, all the rest. But I want you to get a goal for yourself. And when I say specific, it needs to be attainable, it needs to have a timeline and all the rest. But I want you to really dial in what you want for January. And the reason I say that is, if you really have a vision for the way that you want yourself to be in January, then when it comes to whether you exercise or not, get up to exercise or not, whether you eat that cake or pie or whatever, extra slice or whatever, or not, all those decisions will be based on, does this get me closer to my goal or further away from my goal? And if it's something that you really, really want, then guess what? It's easier to make good decisions. Like this, put your hand up. Good. Now, I didn't tell her I was going to push, but as soon as I pushed, she what? She resisted me, she pushed back. So watch this. You can't have sugar. And instantly, when you leave tonight, guess what you want? Hey, can we stop by to Tappy's Yogurt and maybe get some soft yogurt? You just want sugar, right? So if I tell you can't have something, the first thing you want, it's because if I push you, you resist or you push back, right? So you have to change your mindset first. We're going to go through some mindset things tonight. But if you set a vision for yourself, well, I really want this, then it's I want to, choose to, love to, get to, and that's the kind of attitude you have. That's why, you know, some of you guys still get up very early for work. You know, I get up at 4:30 to get to my workout at 5. I can tell you I've never wanted to get up, not one time, ever. But I like the results that I'm getting. And it's kind of like if you get up to work and you have to get up at like, you know, 5:36 or whatever time you get up, but then you have a flight, so you're going to go on vacation, but you have a 6 o'clock flight, which means you need to get there at 5, which means you need to get up at 4 probably, right? You wake up at 4 o'clock, it's like, bing, let's go, I'm ready to go, and right? But it's like Monday morning, and you're going to work, and it's like 5:36, and you're, oh my gosh, if I could just get one more hour of sleep. Why? It's because you want to, love to, choose to, get to, or you have to. I have to get up for work. Do you see the difference? So we just got to get a roadmap. But let's go through the harsh truth a little bit, and you can read that. But more than 29.1 million Americans have diabetes, so 1 in 3 people are diabetic. 17, this is where I really want to stop. 17% of children here, right in the middle, aged 2, so 2-year-olds to 19, are obese in the United States. Wow. That's not overweight, that's obese. Have you ever been to some of the pools in the summertime? These little kids are, it's exorbitant, it's horrible. And antidepressants have skyrocketed. So do you know that antidepressant usage has skyrocketed? Right here, Charlene, come on up here. So it's skyrocketed 400%. So a 100% increase would be ridiculous. 100% increase, 400% increase in the last 20 years in uses of antidepressants. And then holiday weight gain. This is crazy. The average person gains a pound over the holidays. And if you're actually, the more overweight you are, the actual more weight you gain over the holidays. Some people gain up to 7, 8 pounds, 10 pounds over the holidays. And research shows most people don't lose their holiday weight, which is why people will say, well, the older you get, the bigger, the heavier you get. But the research from Okinawa shows that the healthy human body actually gets leaner as it ages, as long as it's not dysfunctional or exposed to foods that actually cause weight gain. But a pound, just 1 pound, like that's not a big deal, pound. That's like taking 4 sticks of butter and going, like just slapping them on you, right? That's just terrible. That's a pound, right? And it gets around your organs and it goes everywhere, right? So, doesn't have to happen. But this is an epidemic fueled by what? Sugar, right? What's the cost of it? If I could just put this one up here, I could stop. You would change what you're doing, possibly just by this. If you get diagnosed with diabetes at the age of 50, it costs you over $170,000 cash. That's not your insurance, that's your money. If you get diagnosed as young as 30, then guess what? It is over $300,000 out of your pocket, not Aetna, not Cigna, not Obamacare. That's out of your pocket, $305,000. Did you get that? So do you think it might save you money by doing what I'm going to tell you tonight? Yes, but most people don't think it's going to be them, right? It's 1 in 3 people are diabetic or pre-diabetic, and most people they're having fatigue, but they don't even realize it's pre-diabetes. But I just got to stop on this a little bit because I want to get to some disease specific, so you understand the disease, so you understand about, because some of you guys are still having like joint issues or immune issues like allergies or these things, but it's actually because there's an essential, that essential number 2 you haven't really dialed into just yet, and we're going to get to that tonight, so I want you to understand it. But for diabetes, treatments that concentrate merely on just lowering the blood sugar with having more insulin basically will always make it worse, because they work on trying to control the situation rather than fixing the cause of the problem. Does that sound familiar to anybody else, right? So what do we see here? So the drugs, all the drugs can only do 1 of 2 things. They actually either increase insulin or they try to increase the ability for glucose to get in the cell. Either way, nobody is actually looking at decreasing what? Sugar, the glucose, right? So if you think about it, look at this. So if you do the drugs for diabetes, if you increase insulin demand, you wear out what? Which makes insulin, right? So you just wear it out because you just keep on causing more. You got to do more. You got to do more. You got to. So just so you know, insulin is the reason that sugar can get into your cell. Insulin attaches to glucose molecule, which attaches to a receptor site, opens a door, and off it goes. So sugar can't get out of your bloodstream and into the cell for energy unless insulin attaches to it, which is why having a decrease in insulin sensitivity, right, is so big, or having just so many sugars coming in that you just wear everything out. Does that make sense? You guys with me? Right, so having high levels of insulin causes low blood sugar, weight gain, chronic degenerative diseases, and I'm going to go through that a bit. You wear the insulin receptors out. So those receptors that pick up the sugar and insulin molecule when they connect and open the door, those receptors, if they keep getting beat on all the time, they completely wear out. So you have insulin receptors that aren't even good anymore. And so if you start losing insulin receptors, there's not as many doors for the insulin and the sugar to get into, right? So then the ones that are left wear out even faster. You see that oftentimes because diabetes patients will have to start using more and more what? Insulin. You see, or more glucophage or metformin, these things, okay? And every drug has massive side effects. Kind of a scary picture. I like the picture, that's crazy. And the reason I say it's because the aging process is really glycation. Everybody say glycation. Glycation is really simple. Basically, all it means is you have enough sugar at higher levels all the time than what the body should have. And as a result, it actually attaches to soft tissue, and it makes it where your soft tissue is not as elastic, so it doesn't like bounce back. It doesn't stretch like a rubber band. Imagine taking a rubber band and making it just a little bit less pliable. You ever leave one out in the sun or it dries out? It's basically like that. When sugar is at higher levels for an extended period of time, chronic levels for a long time, it actually causes glycation, which is hardening of your tissue, right? So what you see is you see somebody that ages like this instead of like that, right? So if, like, instance, somebody's neck. You ever seen somebody's neck like this? Right? That's glycation. That's because the skin doesn't give, and it gets a little bit harder, and so where they start to twist and things, it starts to develop what? Wrinkles in the actual skin. So how do wrinkles get made? Glycation is a big reason for that, oxidative glycation. But it doesn't just happen on the outside, it happens on the inside. So a lot of you guys come in and you still have aches and pains and things, and we start talking about Essential 4 diet because glycation is affecting discs in your back. Those big shock absorbers should be soft and pliable like this. All of a sudden, sugars are at levels for years and years, and guess what? They get hard or hardened a bit, and then you wonder why one day you just pick up a pencil and you blow a disc, right? Even though we can usually fix those things here. Can you see why it'd be very hard for us to help you if we didn't address this, because you're still hardening tissues all the time. Does it make sense? But not just your discs, your shoulders, right? These things become more brittle and less flexible, so now these are the people that reach in their back seat to grab something, and they didn't even lift that much weight, and all of a sudden, oh, I hurt my shoulder like this, right? Same thing. What about knees, though? Knees the same way, right? So it's the same thing over and over again. Glycation just causes the body to age quickly or quicker, okay? Can you reverse it? Yes, you can. It just takes time, right? The body heals. If I cut myself, what happens to it over the next 2-3 weeks? It scabs over, we get a little scar, something else, but it heals. Same thing happens with glycation or anything else, okay? How do we get a maximized holidays? We're going to go through these 5 essentials. First one, okay, is finding peace. Now, some of you guys know I pastor a church. I'm big on peace. You know, this is the season of peace, goodwill towards men. And let me tell you, if you don't have peace, let's talk about Jesus a little bit. I'm this close to an altar call by the time I'm done today, but I won't do it. But I will say this, peace is something that every single person needs. If you've got stress in your life, anxiety, depression, these things, you can't manage anxiety, stress, depression. That's like trying to manage the lack of money. You can manage money, but you can't manage the lack there, like the absence of it. Doesn't make sense. There's nothing to manage. These things are usually the lack of peace. And so you can go through the kind of this list, but I'm going to walk through this a little bit as we go. But these are the things in the hands here. These are things you're trying to create. Yes? And a big word in this quote from Matthew Kelly I love is discipline. If you just read that with me, it's discipline is the faithful friend who introduces you to your true self. Discipline is the worthy protector who will defend you from your lesser self. And discipline is the extraordinary mentor who will challenge you to become the best version of yourself. It's just discipline. Do you think it might take a little bit of discipline this holiday season to get to where you really want to go? A little bit. I won't ask you to skip it. In fact, my mom makes a killer cherry pie, homemade. And listen, it's probably, if I pass away before the age of 110, it'll be because of the pie. It's made with Crisco and like corn syrup, cherries, and the whole deal. Wicked. But it takes about a year to heal from it. But I'm going to do it again this year. But listen, so should you have vacation meals over the holidays? Yes. Okay. But it's because it's just part of the plan, okay? So let's go through that a little bit. Stress. Is stress a real thing? Yeah, hey, yes, it is a real thing. 43% of adults suffer from the adverse effects. They don't just have stress. 43%, it's almost half of the people around actually have adverse health symptoms or effects because of stress. How about this one? What's it affect? Everything, right? Occupational Safety Health Administration, so OSHA, reported that it cost us $300 billion. That's a B, it's not a typo. $300 billion stress did, okay? So let me describe it like this, because I often have people that don't really understand what stress does, but some of you guys have seen this picture before. What if I put a 500-pound man-eating tiger in your house, and now you've got to live with it for 6 months, right? First of all, I go, well, I mean, he usually doesn't attack people if you just feed him, just feed him a little bit. But, I mean, that thing is mean. And you're walking around that thing and he's looking for you. Would you have elevated blood sugar? Or elevated blood sugar, yes. Would you have elevated heart rate? So your heart rate probably go up a little bit, right? Would your blood pressure go up, right? Would your attention to detail and be able to hear stuff? Is that tapping of claws walking down the hallway, right? So your attention would be up, right? So you'd be heightened awareness like this. Would it decrease your ability to probably sleep very well? Yeah. How about your digestion? Have you ever been super, super, super nervous? What's your digestion do? Basically shuts down. So now watch this. Live with this tiger for a while. Your digestion's horrible, right? You got all these digestive issues. Your thyroid stops working. Your blood pressure's through the roof. You got all these issues, right? And probably a headache. You're starting to gain weight. You can't sleep. You go to your medical doctor, and your medical doctor says what? Oh, we got something for so we'll need to give you something for the, right? But isn't that crazy? That's the most crazy thing I've ever heard of. All you need to do is get rid of what? Just get rid of the tiger, right? And some of you guys go, well, you don't know what I'm dealing with. Well, you're right, I don't. We've all had stresses in our life. Some people, well, I have to have this job, I have to work here, right? And by the way, if it's my team, you still have to work here. But stress is a real thing. Honestly, I've had people who were so stressed out, I actually was praying for them and helping them through finding something else. Because I told you, listen, until you get out of that, it may be very hard for you to get healthy again. Stress is a real thing. Make sense? So how do you get out of that? We're going to work on developing peace, and I'm going to cover that at the end. Okay? Now, there's the attainable goals. Read it with me. Specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound. You ever heard that before? SMART? So SMART goals. My first mentor gave me how to write attainable, so specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound goals, SMART goals. And as a result of that, it went from having high hopes and like dreams, I wish one day I could do this, to having something where we just drilled in and I'm going to do this and this is where this is why it's going to happen. And as a result, we've been able to really effectively do a lot my wife and I, because of this. So it's habits of highly effective people, but it's also something that I want you to set for a framework for the next couple months, okay? So what that means is I want you to set a goal. So what you're going to do tonight, okay, tonight is, if it's right now or it's when you go home, I want you to set a specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound goal. Your time-bound should be starting out at least with a January whatever, okay? And then I would actually walk that back out, like if it's a weight goal, I'm gonna be this weight in January, and then I'd walk it back out to this third week in December, and then second week in December, whatever else, and then we'll walk it back weekly so you have a goal each week, right? If it's going to be, hey, I wanna run a 5K in January, right? I would say, okay, so great, I'm not doing anything. So I'm gonna start walking now, and I'm gonna get to this and this, and I'm gonna be up to yada, yada, yada. Does that make sense, right? Start with that in mind, okay? So if it's gonna be weight, not only are you going to write down the weight that you want to be at in January in an attainable way, right? So specific and attainable, so you put an exact number, not ish. Don't write any ishes down, okay? But what you want to do is you want to actually write your game plan to get there, and I'm going to help you do that when we're done today too, okay? So you guys got that? Good, all right. This is my calendar, okay? This is what you want to work. I almost printed off a blank calendar so you guys could write on it. So what that means is, since you don't have one, you are going to have to write on yours. And what you're going to do is you're going to plan your holidays. So some of you guys go into this thing, and it's like, well, I think we might get together with so-and-so. We might go here. I'll probably eat a little worse, whatever else. And then you end up having 22 meals that you shouldn't have had when you should have had 3 or 4 vacation meals, right? And you planned on working out. You really did. But because you didn't write it down, what? Didn't happen. And so what I want you to do is you're going to take a calendar and you're going to write when it is you're going to have vacation meals, okay? Now I didn't say vacation days, I said vacation meals, okay? Now I'm all about leftover turkey, don't get me wrong. But put together your vacation meals. So you're going to write them in. Would it be easier to say no to going out and having a little bit of celebratory meal if you knew that you had X, Y, and Z coming up, right? And so, you're going to let yourself get off the rails about 3 days. Just get sick. Make yourself sick. But give it to yourself. But before that and around that, guess what? Stay on the straight and narrow. It's easier to do if you plan it, okay? Then guess what else you're going to do? You're going to commit to the type of exercise, so what it is, how long it is, and then when it is, okay? So if you could see it close, the start of every single day in there is Capel CrossFit Central. So at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm up there at 4:45, and I'm starting to stretch out before the 5 o'clock hits, and then 5 to 6 is my workout. And like I said, I've never, so don't expect that all of a sudden you set this and all. If it's hard for you to get up if you're going to do it in the mornings, guess what? It's probably supposed to be. It hasn't changed for me yet. But I've never finished a workout, and neither will you, if you get up early and you get done with your workout and go, I wish I'd have stayed in bed. Right. You just never say that. I get up and I'm so excited to have been worked out. I feel better, right? I can tell you, if you ever get some of my 7:30 adjustments and I'm slow to get going or something, you can look at me and go, you didn't work out today. Because I'm usually what? At 7:30 ready to go because I've been up and running and going, right? So this is a good start. You see that? Okay? Now, people often ask me, what do you think the most important thing, because we're talking about mindset and brain, what do you think the most important supplement is for holiday stress and like my brain and all the memory and all the rest? I would say it's Perfect Ratio Omega or Optimal Omega. We actually changed the name recently, so if it looks a little differently. Yeah, so we've said Perfect Ratio for years, and you remember, Kristen, it's been 4-to-1, 2-to-1, whatever else, but we put Optimal Ratio, so Optimal Omega. But this is a big one. Actually, if you look here, it blocks abnormal signaling in the brain that's related to depression. And so this is a big one for the holidays, okay? And also, everything is 10% off, so there's another thing. Some of you guys asked me if we're going to have product at the end for that, and it is. So we had Dorota just buy gobs of product, except for I know some of you guys were waiting for vitamin D3. You can buy it at 10% off tonight for a rain check. Corporate is, because so many people are ordering so much vitamin D right now, corporate is behind, and so it's not Dorota's fault. So just don't go after. It was supposed to be here on Friday, and we have got cases and cases of it coming, which we're moving through already, but it'll be here, okay? So if you want to get yours, I have a lot of people wait until November to get theirs through February, so they'll buy their 4 or 5 bottles, whatever, because it's 10% off. Whatever you want to do, but they'll be up here after we're done. 4 main changes. So let's get into diet. So we're going to leave mindset a little bit, come back to it at the end. 4 main changes when it comes to your diet. Okay, first one is clean up your carbs. What does that mean? Get rid of processed, just like Cheryl was talking about. Get rid of the processed, and we want to get rid of the refined. Got it? We also want to get rid of those things that turn to sugar, those carbs as well. Fix your fats. Those are basically those fats that are oxidized or hydrogenized fats, okay? And we'll talk about that just briefly. But also perfect your proteins. So we want to go for protein sources that are more pure. They're not like grain-fed cows and these things, okay? Now, if you're traveling, okay, how do you eat? How do you be successful traveling? Well, guess what? If you have to eat something that's not grass-fed, whatever, I do that. It happens often. But guess what I'll do? I'll make sure I'm not getting all the potatoes and all the, corn and all. I'll get steamed veggies and a salad and then like a piece of meat, okay? Also, if you can get bison, some restaurants are having bison now. Bison is a hard animal to raise that does not, it just doesn't like grain. Like it wants grass. And so generally, bison is more of a grass-fed animal, period. So if it's anything on the menu is bison, get that. Okay, so it's usually healthier. And then trash the toxins. I'm going to show you something here in just a minute on toxins in food. You just have to know your food. You need to start looking at food labels. That's a big one. Also, cooking. Some of you guys are still using non-stick cookware and things like that that destroy hormone patterns, all the rest. Ask for Santa to bring you something for Christmas, okay, and get rid of that stuff and throw it away. But non-stick cookware off gases 12 gases, new or old, scratched or not, that it goes right into your food and then right into the person that's standing above it cooking it. And it destroys hormones, just completely wrecks them. Okay, yeah?
What about ceramic?
Ceramic's good. I use ceramic, and then I also use not stainless steel is okay, but I use cast iron, yeah. You gotta have a good arm to be using that stuff.
I noticed that my ceramic cookware is white, but when I cook eggs, some eggs turn gray.
Yeah, it depends on what you're using as far as the oil in it, and also the ceramic as well. But I can tell you, ceramic does not off-gas, and so you're doing good with that. Okay, so what's wrong with this picture? This is from a grocery store locally.
Registered dietitian.
So it's a registered dietitian. She's needs to lose a little weight first of all, and then what are they using the registered dietitian to sell?
Chocolate.
Chocolate. Are you kidding me? So first of all, I love this, but I'm going to give you things, and I have patience. Yes, look. Labib goes, so dark chocolate. Write that down. So, no, but there are some chocolates you can't have. But this one specifically, if you get advice from a registered dietitian, and I don't say anything bad about them, they're great people, just like medical doctors are great people, but they're taught in such a way that is completely off base. Like the American Diabetes Association says to eat bread every single meal. Make sure you're getting toast, those things, to control blood sugar. But if you do that, you'll be a diabetic the rest of your whole life. And so it's not good recommendations. But I wanted to give you guys, and I'm spending a little bit of time, so I'm going to try and dial this talk down a bit, but I wanted to give you guys some good take-homes. Like, what's a good example of a day, right? So if we just look at this would be more good versus, I don't know what you want to call that, bad or whatever else. But can you see breakfast would be something good like, shake with perfect protein or egg or hard-boiled egg, whatever else. Well, we do some fruit, so the more the berry side of this things. Some of you guys see the kiwi up there and going, oh, we can have kiwi? So if you're on the core plan, you can. But my kids even do salads for breakfast, right? Talk about being weird. My kids having salad for breakfast, even my 4-year-old. But snacks, carrots are up there if you're on the core plan, but nuts and seeds, my 4-year-old's, her favorite snack is pistachios. So just, raw pistachios. And she loves all the nuts. And so we do nut butters also, like this, cashew butter or all the rest. She does almond butter, and she likes green apples cut, thinly sliced, on a paper plate and dipped into almond butter. She asks for it by name. So we do good snacks. Get into lunches, salads, lean meat, avocados, right? Good stuff. You can take some of the hemp seed and put that across, good protein, good fat, or flax seed on that as well. Snacks, again, go the same direction, dinner just as well. So can you see how easy that would be? But most people get into, doing some kind of big carb, something like that, donuts, a lot of my ADHD kids, quote, unquote, picky eaters, and they start out in the office, and I look and I start doing a food diary, and they're doing waffles and maple syrup in the breakfast because they're so desiring that stuff. Does that make sense? So it's like we got to get away from those things that detract from health. But I have a lot of people skip snacks and skip lunch. But if they don't, about mid-morning, guess what? All this carb stuff burns completely out. Your blood sugar drops to the floor. You become tired thinking you need some more caffeine or a carb snack, and so you reach for something healthy like, an oatmeal bar. Not healthy, okay? Because it just jacks your blood sugar up. And a lot of people are doing Monsters or Cokes or these things, coffees in the mid-morning because they're just going down adrenally. Then they get to lunch and it's like, well, we're going out because we're at work or whatever else. And that's a whole nother talk. But lunches or snacks, again, they go back to the same thing. And then dinner, we're kind of in a hurry, so we pick it up on the way home. Do you see why most people are getting into the problems that we are? And I have a lot of adults that Dr. Kimberly and I are sitting down with, mostly Dr. Kimberly for her consults, who do not know how to cook at all. Have no clue how to cook at all. And that's one of the reasons I think we have such success with people, is because we just walk it up little bit by little bit and then go from there. Got it? So some of you guys are going, is he talking about me? But so it's okay.
Yep. It's a new brand called Nothing.
Yeah, a brand called Nothing. Yeah, no, it's just people skip meals. And I'm okay with skipping meals to some degree if it's on purpose, like you're doing intermittent fasting. But if you're skipping it, but just because you're in a hurry and it just becomes your regular way of life, and you're hodgepodge, there's a deficit to that. Now, let me give you this. Lucky Charms. Raise your hand if you've eaten Lucky Charms. Come on, raise your hand. Come on. I was a pastor. There's going to be lightning bolts coming down. But if you look up here in the ingredients. I want you to look at this. Can you see that word right there? It says trisodium phosphate. Trisodium phosphate. Most of you guys don't know what that is, but there's a lot of stuff in there that you don't know what it is, right? But like citric acid, like you wouldn't think the acid would be healthy, right? Acid, maybe that's bad, but that's what's in oranges, citric acid, right? So maybe trisodium phosphate's good for you too, I don't know, right? But watch this. Trisodium phosphate is actually heavy-duty cleanser that you would use. You can buy, yes, you just use this. That's why I thought about it, just so you know. But you can get this at the hardware store down the street, and yet you're feeding it to yourself or your children. And guess what? It's not just in Lucky Charms. That's what I'm saying. Look at the ingredients. And you think just because it's in there in that amount, it's safe. I'm not going to feed myself or my children a heavy-duty cleanser. Okay, yes.
It's cleaning up your body.
Yeah, cleaning up. Maybe it's detox. No, it's not. Yeah, I see where you're going with that. Now, vitamin D, this is the only nutrient that you cannot get from your food. You have to get it from sun. And I talk about it whether it's summertime, spring, or fall, or whatever else. But the most important time for you to be taking this nutrient is right now. Why is the height of the flu season January, February? It's because it's the end of the dark season, right? Where you're getting less and less. Your vitamin D levels go down and your immunity does what? Goes down with it. And the flu doesn't cause you to get sick, and cold viruses don't cause you to get sick. It's your body being run down with a lower immunity that allows it to come in and take an effect to you, right? I always make the joke, I could lick every single person's hand in here, I'm never going to get sick because my body's not ever run down. I just don't let that happen, okay? And so I would suggest to you, one of the most important things that's a non-negotiable for you through this fall is to make sure that you're getting this vitamin D3. And I would suggest probably that November, December is probably when, if you're doing 5,000, you probably want to do 10. Okay? And if you're doing 10, I'd probably bump it up maybe a little bit higher than that. Maybe do an extra pill or something like that every other day. Because you want to bring it up just a little bit more. Because how many of us are getting any sun this week? Like maybe today it was 80, but it's going to be 51 tomorrow and all week long. Got it? So, guilt-free holiday season. It's just that easy. Guys, this book here is one of my favorite books. Some of you guys have this and you've not opened it up to the recipes, but they're brilliant. Did everybody here get your recipe for your pumpkin pie?
Yeah.
Let me show you. Now I'm the only office doing that, so I just want to make sure everybody got this. This is my favorite recipe. She's like, give it back. But this, oh good. No, I'm going to give this back. But this is a spectacular pumpkin pie. But this will show you that, did you make this? Yeah. It was you. I accused somebody else. I was like, you're going to make that again. They were like, I've never made that. So it's you. So we can expect Kristen to be making pumpkin pie for the December 8th dinner. I'm volunteering. No, but for anyway, yeah, is it going to be you? Yeah. Not this one? Yeah, so a different one. Okay. All right, well, whatever it is, it's going to be a good one. But the recipes are in the book, okay? The recipe's in the book. And we're going to have a big recipe night family dinner here on the 8th. It's actually going to be down the street at the church. But we're going to do that all together. And it's the name of it's Have Your Cake and Eat It Too. So we're going to have lots of holiday sweet things to eat and whatever else. And they're all going to be advanced plan, or most of them will be advanced plan. Okay? So it's going to be great. Know how much sugar. So nobody wants to do sugar because I'm going to have you guys do an advanced plan to January. Okay? So I want you to be committing to that. But everybody's like, well, no, I can totally not do Cokes, right? Because I'll do something healthy. Like I'll just drink tea. Then you drink Snapple. So that's got some, you know what, I won't drink Snapple. But how about if I just eat something that's like, doesn't have a lot, it's not ice cream, right? This is sorbet, raspberry sorbet. By the way, none of you eat 2 scoops. You're going for that thing, okay? And that's how much sugar's in there. I don't want to hear it. Oh no, I just have the serving size. No, you don't. All right? So let's not do sorbet. Let's just do fruit. Now I think bananas are healthy, and if you're on the core plan, do them. But they've got 4.5 cubes of sugar. It's like 3 grams or something each. So that's a lot of sugar in a banana. So some of you guys are going to get off of bread and oatmeal and all these other things, and you're going to go into an absolute carb fit and want to punch me in the face for a piece of bread, and you'll go home and go, well, strawberries and bananas are healthy, and you ate one whole entire stalk of bananas at one sitting and 4 pounds of strawberries, and you're like, I'm on the advanced plan. No, you're not, right? And so we got to get away from sugars. But like even an orange, even grapes, look at that. Right? Even just a tiny thing of grapes. I had a conversation today or last time about raisins. People are like, well, raisins are healthy. Yeah, raisins are healthy, I guess. But if you eat a box of raisins, do you know how many raisins are in one box? Do you? Yeah, like 80. So imagine eating 80 grapes. Like you haven't sat down and ate 80 grapes since you were probably like 12 or something, right? And then when you did, you had diarrhea so bad you couldn't get out of the bathroom. Grapes, great if you're on the core plan. Raisins, small bits of them, right? These are not things that kids should have all the time. Sugar shockers, let's go through just briefly on this. What does it do? Damages your heart. That's simple because it causes what? What's the I word? Inflammation, which is linked to all the diseases. Specifically, it promotes belly fat. I mean, it really is a reason why fat is here. You know, it's one thing to just gain weight, but sugar goes right here. That's why holiday fat is just a different kind of fat. Sugar is a true silent killer. It's like people just go freaky over salt. I got to decrease my salt. My cardiologist said I had to do. No, sugar, okay? Sugar is it, okay? Sugar is linked to cancer production. It may affect cancer survival rates. Not may, it's 100%. We know it for sure. Okay, that's a typo. But that's corporate. But it's linked to cancer production. We just got through with Halloween, right? Do you know that candy consumption and sugar consumption actually is an absolute one-on-one link, direct link with pediatric cancer? So do you realize supporting giving out cancer, you actually are supporting increasing pediatric cancers in your neighborhood, which is why in my neighborhood, guess what we give out? We give out, I shouldn't say this, you guys will all show up next year, but I give out silver $50, all right? And then you give that to a kid and they're like, oh. I'm like, dude, I could have given you 2-cent candy. I gave you 50 cents. Right? So anyway, but zaps your brain power. This is why a lot of these kids have ADHD issues or focus issues. Toxic effect on the liver, addiction. It says may be genetic, but not because it was your parents eating sugar. You eat sugar and it triggers genes within you that actually are turned on that make it more and more and more and more addictive. That's why kids who get sugar growing up, like kids right now get hundreds of pounds more sugar than you ever got. And that's why kids who grow up and they're doing Lucky Charms and things like this, they go to the grocery store, they're standing eye level, right? It's a smart marketing move, eye level at the grocery store with all the candy bars and everything, and they flip out like a Coke addict sitting next to crack cocaine, and they're like, I want a Snickers bar, like this, and go nuts, right? And mom is so embarrassed, what does she do? Okay, just be quiet, right? That's an addict. That's an addict, right? Overload of sugar shortens your lifespan, makes us fat, okay? Now, it causes all these things. I put this up here specifically because some of you guys come in and you still have issues. You're like, I don't know if this is working. I don't know if this is working. I'm like, well, let's look at the diet again. I'm like, I'm eating pretty good. And then I turn around and you're going, but I'm doing steel-cut oats. I thought steel-cut oats were healthy. No, they're grain. They turn right into sugar in 4 seconds in your mouth, and they just jack your inflammation up, and you still got all these different issues like this. And you go, but I'm not eating candy. I'm not eating sugar. I'm not drinking Coke anymore. Yeah, but you're eating enough things that lead to inflammation that it causes all of this, okay? Healthy proteins and good fats. Isn't that a gorgeous slide? Let me just enjoy that for a second. But change meats, we talked about this a bit. Quality whey protein, no hormones, pesticides, GMO. I put bison in there. Good fats, olive oil, avocados, nuts such as walnuts and almond, flax seeds, hemp seeds for your salad, omega-3 fatty acids. That's again the optimal omega. So easy stuff to do. It just takes a little bit of thought, doesn't it? Just a little bit of thought. Also, something that I've got caught on twice here in the last month is when you go out to eat and you don't want to get like the creamy dressing, like the ranches and stuff. A lot of bad oils, lots of sugar in that, and so you ask for what? The olive oil and vinegar. Not even Italian, because it's actually got rancid oils and stuff in it. So you ask for olive oil and vinegar, right? But then they bring it out and it doesn't look quite green. It looks more yellow. Guess what? Ask them, hey, are you sure this is olive oil? It's canola oil. And so twice I've actually doused an entire salad and went, that doesn't smell like olive oil. And then I asked him about it. I'm like, well, you can take that back because I asked for olive oil. I'm not eating that. Because it takes over 90 days to heal your cell membranes from eating one serving of bad oxidized hydrogenized fats. And that's including your brain, your immune system, everything. So we just don't do that, okay? Bad carbs, good carbs. There are good carbs, guys. So carbs aren't a bad thing. God made them. They should be great. But you want to get them closer to coming out of the ground. Okay? If you're on the core plan, you can do bread like Ezekiel and these things. You can do vegetables and rice. But that's core plan. That's not advanced plan. Okay? Advanced plan, which I'll go through here next, is getting out of the carbs that turn into sugar and changing a couple other things. Bads, refined sugars, most breads, most rice, potatoes, sodas, diet, anything. You know, I go back to wheat again. Some of you guys are like, well, it's organic, you know, sprouted grain wheat bread. It's healthy, right? But have you read Wheat Bellies? Wheat Bellies just shows it. It's basically the wheat today is not the wheat of yesterday. Remember the United States, you know, the amber waves of grain. That's because they're 7-8 feet tall and they wave in the wind. But that wheat does not exist anymore. It's all 18-inch high yield, semi-dwarf, high whatever, you know, modified genes now, and they can still call it organic for some reason. And it actually has a protein in there that your body was never supposed to get. And when you eat that, it actually causes you to put on weight. Metabolically, it destroys your metabolism. And if you eat bread of any kind, you are on average going to want and eat 400 more calories that day than a day that you did not consume bread. Right? So you guys want to have like a piece of bread with your breakfast, a piece of toast, just one little bit, just a little bit. And I'll use organic butter, just a little bit of toast, right? Well, guess what? The whole rest of the day, you actually have sugar cravings, you're gaining weight, your metabolism's down, whatever else, and you think it's a thyroid problem. No, it just happens to do with this. Number one source of sugar for most people? Soda. Number one source for soda. Increased from zero high fructose corn syrup, 0 in 1966 to 63 pounds per person a year in 2001, and it's more than that now. Can you imagine eating 63 pounds of corn syrup in a year? Oh. Lord, that's terrible.
Soda does not include sugar.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's corn syrup. Yeah, it's just crazy. Now, listen, if you want to splurge and have a vacation meal like with a type of soda, Sprouts has some great stuff called Zevias. It's made with stevia. Again, it's not something you drink every day. It's not a health drink. But if you want to have something that's kind of fun, like for the kids or whatever else, then that's what we do if we do that for something that's kind of a vacation meal. Got it? They've got like all kind of grape and orange and sodas and whatever else. What's worse than sugar? Now we said sugar is bad, yeah, it causes all these things. Is there something worse than sugar? Yes, there is. Uh-oh. Some of you guys are like, oh, really? Yeah, so, but wait, why is it bad? As a neurologist, I can tell you that you destroy your body when you eat this stuff. It causes increased pain patterns. It causes decrease in memory and cognitive function. It actually, most of the brain tumors that I've ever seen in the last 17 years of practice actually were doing high levels of artificial sweeteners. It causes heart issues, extreme heart issues. And this is all documented. It's not Dr. David's thought, okay? But something else, this is just recently, this is over the last couple of years, they actually did studies, different animals, not just rats, so all kind of animals. And they gave all these animals the exactly the same caloric intake, right? Same food. But they gave one group artificial sweeteners, okay? And so they had, because it's 0 calorie, it's the same calorie intake. And then they actually monitored these animals over longer and longer periods of time. And guess what they found? If you do an artificial sweetener, your body will destroy its metabolism and you'll gain weight on the exact same caloric intake if you weren't doing it. So I have people go, I drink diet soda because I don't want to gain weight. But guess what you're inadvertently doing? You are actually gaining weight because you're drinking diet soda. You're not missing anything. So if you're going to have a soda, have the sugar, pay the price in your joints and all the rest, and your inflammation, all the rest if you're going to have it. But then just know, get healthy. It's a vacation meal and get back to it. But this stuff is absolute poison. Okay, it will destroy you. It takes a lot longer to heal from this stuff than it does from sugar. Okay, and this is kind of a crazy picture, but I see kids now who are doing Crystal Light, Lifesavers with aspartame, Jello with aspartame, sugar-free Kool-Aid, Pepsi's, the whatever, gummy bears, extra gum, Hubba Bubba, Fanta, all these different things, and you wonder why these kids are just blowing off the walls, and then we start putting them on ADHD drugs and antidepressants, and they're blowing themselves away in schools and things like this. It's part of the problem. What is a real alternative? Stevia and xylitol. And some of you guys try stevia, and you're like, ooh, I just can't do stevia. But this stevia is Stevita brand, and it does not have that funky stevia aftertaste. It is good, and I can tell you, I strayed on it for a long time. I was like, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. But this actually, I like this better than the xylitol. Okay, so just so you know, those are the two that we use. And a lot of the recipes that you'll find in the book will have those. Where do you find Stevita? I think they now start having it at Sprouts. It's hard to find it. That's why we carry it here. We've carried it for a while. They may have it at Sprouts. It's expensive. You're going to look at that and go, oh my gosh, it's that for that. But that one thing will last you 6 months, a year. I mean, it lasts a long time. And don't put it 1-to-1 for sugar. It's like 200% sweeter, 400% sweeter than sugar or something like this. So it doesn't take much at all, okay?
Is it made the same way normal stevia is made? Is it just the plant?
No, it's good, so it's not like all chemicalized or whatever else, but it's just the plant. Now, I don't know why it doesn't have that funky aftertaste like the regular ones, but it doesn't. Stevia doesn't. Also, they make this, what's that?
What's the brand name?
Stevita. Stevita Stevia. And it's also a Fort Worth company. I like buying stuff local. So it's good stuff. They also have different flavors. So we have cherry and grape and orange and lime and all the rest. You put that just in water and ice, mix it up, good to go. My kids like that all the time. Also, they take LaCroix, right, which is like a lightly flavored soda. It's like soda water, basically. And they actually put flavored stevia in it. And so it's something they use for like a treat. Perrier's good too. Yeah, you use it for that, just bubbling anything. Yeah.
Where do flavors come from?
They use something. I asked that question because I wanted to make sure it wasn't like some kind of jacked up, chemicalized, whatever else, and it ran by Dr. Kimberly as an okay. Got it, so you got a green light on that. Now, what's the difference? I have people ask all the time, what's the difference between the core plan and advanced plan? Very simply put, core plan is basically just a healthy alternative to everything, and advanced plan is increasing fats, healthy alternative to everything, and then eliminating sugar and decreasing and eliminating everything that turns to sugar. So the core plan is more if you don't have a lot of the issues or disease. And if you look in your book, this book here, page 49 of this book gives you the indications of why it is you might need to be on the advanced plan. I'm going to say every single person here, if you'll go to the advanced plan between now and January, you will have the greatest change of your entire life. Now, what am I saying? Every day between now and January?
Yes.
Nope,
Every day but
I'm not.
3.
Every day but 3 or 5 or what. I don't care if it's 6 days, but just put it down and commit to that. Don't make 6 days into 14. You see what I'm saying? Or like 32.
I thought you had said have vacation meals, not vacation.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, okay, don't go off the rails for the whole day, but have a day where it's planned, where your big brunch or your big dinner or whatever else, right? Also, if you're going to pick a meal, is it better to do a lunch or dinner for a big vacation meal? Lunch, so you can burn through it before you go to bed. Okay, I'll actually have one that's planned that's a dinner time. But advancement, so basically there it is, sugar and carbs, eliminate grains, sugars. Fruit, do you have to get rid of all fruits? No, just the ones that generally turn to sugar the fastest. Green apples, they don't, they're good. Berries, so raspberries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, good. Just don't go hog wild because you're wanting sugar, okay? I know Costco sells a 5-pound thing of strawberries. It doesn't mean that you can eat them all at one sitting, okay? It doesn't mean that. But grapefruit, you can do grapefruit, yep, does not cause a rise like that. I just added this, you guys, because I'm finding more and more you guys are completely dehydrated. You guys are not drinking water like you should, and listen, your discs, your body is made of a lot of water. You should be drinking water more than anything else. And some of you guys don't drink any water. You drink tea, you drink something else, coffees, these things. You need to drink water. If you would not take that liquid and make your cells float in it, then I wouldn't drink it. Okay? But if you just drink a lot of water, what I suggest is maybe buying a new water bottle. Just keep it filled up and keep drinking it all the time. Okay? But it'll help you do all these things. Help you sleep better, help your skin look better, increase energy. Do you know 85% of headaches are actually caused by decrease in hydration? And then you put a subluxation on that, just off you go with a headache. So water, water, water. Got it? Okay?
Glass water bottle or plastic?
Glass, good, glass. Most plastics leach, right? So you want to use glass or stainless steel. I do drink out of plastic sometimes, but I try to get the ones that are okay. Exercise versus medication. This is crazy stuff. This is for depression, by the way. Psychosom Med, this is a clinical research, came out and showed that it's recovered completely, partially recovered, and then relapsed. Those colors right there. And what do you see? What's the best thing for depression? But what's the last thing that people want to do if they're depressed? Exercise. And so that's why we're made for fellowship. So that when you're having a hard time, someone comes alongside you and says, hey, let's go for a walk. Hey, let's go work out together. Hey, let's go do something physical. Right, let's get out of the house. Let's just get out of the house. Right? And so that's why we do that. That's also why you keep coming here. That's why you should, listen, 4 days a week, we've got Max T3 classes, and we have literally between 4 and 10 of you guys that show up every single time like this. This place should be packed. We should have to rent out places to do Max T3 classes because everybody is wanting to have a place to work out. Everybody wants a physical trainer here, right? But no one wants to pay $60, $80 an hour. Well, you have one. I hired her. She's a 20-year veteran in fitness that'll go through it with you. She's a Polish Storm, Dorota, right? You just got to show up, okay? So, on-the-go workouts. There's that Max T3D video that you haven't opened yet, right? You got to get to it. You got to open it. I put these in here. Again, this will be up on the website. I'm going to make through Dorota. She's going to help me with Rebecca sending this out on Facebook. So make sure you like us on Facebook so you get this. These 2 workouts I want you to have at your arsenal anytime. So if I just called you and said, hey, do a quick set, and you could just go bam, 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 just knock this stuff out. Got it? Easy, easy stuff to do. You could do it anywhere, anytime. Don't need a gym. Don't need weights. Don't even have to be in workout clothes. You could do it in anything you're wearing right now. Got it? So there's no excuse not to exercise. What's the best time to do it? Best time is in the morning. There's better compliance and there's better hormone changes if you do it in the morning time. And it's also, you'll feel better when? All day long, okay? But you want to do it, so metabolic conditioning, you ever heard of Metcon? If you're just kind of in the health world, you'll hear Metcon all the time. Metabolic conditioning, Metcon. And it's just high intensity, short duration. The reason I love CrossFit so much is because I've been leading, a decade now of exercise. Now we have Dorota who's so good at it. She's better than me at it. But I want someone to lead me a bit, right? So instead of just going to the gym and kind of cranking this thing out at 5 o'clock, I get in there and there's this culture of people, which is why it's so awesome to come to Max T3, this culture of people you see every time you come in. And then guess what? We go through a workout together and it's high intensity, short duration. To give you an idea, we did a workout this morning. It was 9 deadlifts, 6 power snatches, and then 3 overhead squats. And you had to do 4 rounds of that for the best time you could do it, so as fast as you could. And I did all of that in 3 minutes and 35 seconds. And I can tell you, I could not get off that floor for like 3, 4, 5 minutes. I had to catch my breath. I was like a fish trying to get water. I just couldn't go. But it's high intensity, short duration. Got it? Okay? Most effective way. Now, what is this again? Calendar, because what do you need to do? You need to commit to your workouts now. The reason you need to commit now, commit when? Now. Commit when? Now. Commit when? Now is because when it comes, guess what? Your friends are in town, your family just came, and they go, hey, let's go see a movie, right? Or, hey, do you guys want to go catch a little? And guess what? You committed that you were going to work out. And how does it feel when you do what you said you were going to do? It feels what? It feels good, right? So then let's say that you were going to try and get a workout in that evening, that day, but then they call and said, hey, let's just go to a movie tonight or whatever else. Then guess what you do? Just get your quick workout and do it right then or at lunch. Do you guys see that? But I can't go to the gym. I don't have time. I got to shower. Don't worry about it. Just do the quick set right there. And then you can check it off. Say, I said I was going to work out. I worked out. Got it? I like checking stuff off. I'm kind of a nerd with the check off things. I just, la la la, no popcorn. Popcorn's a grain. Now, toxic load. We got to decrease your toxic load at holidays. We're finishing up. Do not eat non-organic meat or dairy. Do you eat it? So these are questions. Are you toxic? Do you eat it? Okay. Do you consume boxed food? Right? Lucky Charms, trisodium phosphate. Do you store food in plastic containers? Right? Especially if you ever put it in there hot. Do you use popular cleaning products in your home or your dishwasher? Very toxic still. I got lots of research on that. But do you use store-bought personal care products? Now, there's some stores that hold stuff that actually are non-toxic now, but most of those things, like the link between breast cancer and deodorants is exorbitant, right? So deodorants, makeups, shampoos, perfumes, all these things, horrible, horrible stuff. Do you use Teflon? I was talking about nonstick a while ago. Do you drink city water, right? I have some of you guys still drinking tap water, and just so you know, over 2 million pounds of unused pharmaceuticals go down into the water, so they're flushed or pushed down the drain every 200 million pounds. So when you're drinking, actually they don't come out of the city filtration systems, just so you know. So when you drink tap water, you're actually drinking what? Someone's antidepressant, their birth control, their blood pressure meds, these things, and you don't think about that. But you see it when we start taking these metabolics tests and all these things, you see these things come up all the time. And so just let's stay away from the city tap water, okay? And then, have you ever been exposed to heavy metals, flu shots, mercury amalgams, these things, okay? And if it's yes to any of these, then guess what? You're most likely carrying a toxic burden. And if that's the case, we want you to address that. We want you to look at it, get a testing, want you to change it. That's also why, if it's yes to any of this, that during the holidays, that you're doing that daily detox. Does it make sense? Some of you guys are going to go to Grandma's house or Uncle Charlie's house or whatever else, and you go in, and they've been in the same house for 40 years, and you go in there, and it smells a little musty. You know what that musty smell is? It's mold. And it's not the mold that there's allergies to, it's the toxins from the spores. And so if you can smell it, your body's affected by it. And so just traveling, just going to hotels, these things, you need to be on that daily detox. We're on it all the time. We actually just got our test back for our kids. It's so crazy that my kids came back for some stuff I didn't expect, and all of them, including the 4-year-old, is now on daily detox. She wasn't on daily detox. Now she's taking it. Now we're already seeing some crazy and wonderful results. So I would say part of your commitment should be making sure you take that at least through this January or November, December time. Got it? Okay? So what is this? It's flu season time, everybody. I have people go, listen, I'm going to get a flu shot. Should you? I don't know. This guy here, he's the former chief vaccine control officer for the United States government, and he says there has never been any evidence that a flu vaccine thus far developed is effective in preventing or mitigating any attack from the flu. And actually, if you look at the insert in the vial that comes in the box when they actually draw it out to give you the shot at the pharmacy, right, which were free, now they're not, by the way, that insert says, never been proven in any study to mitigate or lessen the likelihood of you getting the flu. It says it right on there. And yet they're going to sell it like it's the absolute holy grail of flu prevention, right? And I just had somebody call me the other day. They wanted to do a neuro consult. Their 19-year-old daughter got a flu shot, started having grand mal seizures, and she's got brain damage where she had encephalitis from the flu shot. Imagine that. And it's not happenstance, it's from the flu shot. So flu shot's not the answer. How do you stay healthy? Get a flu what? Adjustment. I love that. I actually showed the staff this, and they go, did you get a flu adjustment? I go, yeah, it is. When you get an adjustment, you increase your immunity by 200%. I can't sell you a supplement today that'll do that. I hope you know that. So adjustments are the absolute end-all, be-all to increasing your immunity immediately. So that's always why I say, if you guys are ever fighting something off, do what?
Get adjusted.
Get adjusted. I make the joke, if you're having trouble, sit on a bucket and have one between your legs, but get here, right? Because we'll get your immune system going. But it's because it increases interleukin-2. And Proleukin is actually a pharmaceutical shot that they give cancer patients and people that are having immune issues. And guess what that costs? I did the research. You can get it from Walmart. It's the cheapest place to get one shot, and it's $2,060 for one shot, right? And you get one adjustment that does almost the exact same thing. Did you know that? Almost the exact same thing as the shot. And it's not $2,000 per adjustment. I may raise my prices up. So, no, I'm not going to do that. But get an adjustment, okay? So that's what we're going to do. Now, let me just go through this quickly. I talked to you guys about flu shots, or I talked about eating, or someone goes, hey, have you ever seen somebody heal from this, getting adjusted, whatever else? And I just go back to one thing. Listen, you got to have more faith in the fact that your body is amazing than some doctor or pharmaceutical selling some kind of chemical that's got 70 side effects you don't know about. Are you with me? I mean, look at those stats. Your body is absolutely amazing. You cut yourself, I dare you to have somebody tell you how, every single step and how that happens and how it heals. We still don't know. Do you know? We have ideas and we think, when this happens, your body is an absolute enigma to the amazement that is within it, that we still don't fully understand. That's why people ask me, well, is this going to heal me? I'm like, well, all I know is we remove the interference and your body does the absolute spectacular, sparklingly amazing work that it does. Does that make sense? So it's not my job to heal you, it's your job, but I remove the interference through these 5 essentials and especially the nerve supply. But you look at that, I mean, look at all those things. Isn't that crazy? Are you reading that? That's amazing what your body does. Every single minute, your body is making brand new cells. Do you know in the next 5 to 7 minutes, every single cell in your entire digestive tract, from your mouth to your other end, is brand new? Every cell? How in the world is that? Do you know in the next year, you're going to make every cell in you is going to be brand new? I had a lady who years ago goes, well, if I'm making a new me every year, then why do I keep making the same old me? To which I want to say, I don't know. Why are you making the same of you? But because she's dealing with issues, right? And it's because the body has issues that can't make a great replication of the cell. So amazing intelligence. How do you control the intelligence? Or where does the intelligence come from? It comes from the body's ability to control. That's the amazing, supernatural nerve supply. And I can get religious on you, I can get preachy on you, but it's just anatomy, isn't it? Every doctor is taught the same thing. What system controls everything? The nerve supply. And let me say this as I get into this. This is why during the holiday season, don't skip what? Adjustments. Don't get too busy. Are you going to raise your hand if you're going to travel at least once during the holiday season? I am, right? So guess what? If that's the case, maybe get an extra adjustment before you go out of town, or get an extra when you get back. Right? Can you do that? Easy stuff. It's not hard, right? We'll work it out. We're actually not closed that much this year. Usually we're closed for an entire week on around Christmas, right? You guys remember that? We try to go skiing or something. This year we're not. We're open the whole first part of Christmas week, and we're open the whole following week after that. So we're actually not closed that often. So we'll be here. But this is why. I mean, the nervous system's everything. And there it is right there. Isn't that a beautiful thing? I mean, this is one of my favorite slides ever, although my little animated picture here didn't work. But you can see how this one little nerve supply is choked off right there. And you can just follow this out. I had so many people that have come in this last month who just looked at me, sat down, looked at their x-rays, and in tears go, why didn't anybody ever check that? I mean, this goes right to the area I'm having issues with, or where my cancer started, and nobody ever looked at that. Right? And in tears, I want to look back and go, listen, I don't know why. And the reason is because the world doesn't know yet. Okay? People still think chiropractic is for neck pain, back pain, or headaches. But there's warning signs if you have an issue. The problem with most people is, it's not that they don't believe in chiropractic. It's just they say, well, if I ever have a problem, then I'll go in. Because most people judge whether they're having a problem or their health in general based on what? How they feel. I still have some of you guys that are patients basing how you're doing on how you feel. Right? I'd love to tell you, I told a patient face to face, because I didn't want her to start unless she really understood. I said, this is not a therapeutic activity, which means what? We're not here to make you feel better. It often happens that way because your body's working better, but we're here to make your body heal and adapt better, and oftentimes that means not feeling better, feeling worse, right? Because now your body can actually move something and now muscles are sore or something like that. Make sense? Right? But it's about better function. And if you've got warning signs, and you've got to address this. Some of you guys are still patients, and you've got warning signs, and you're like, well, I'm just going to maybe just deal with it, whatever else. No, that's why you have my cell number. Set up a progress eval, set up an exam, some special consult. Let's dial in. You came here not so you got mediocre results, but got what kind of results? Great results, okay? So you got to make sure you keep dialing in, keep pressing in. If you're anybody that still has these, if you're a guest here that has symptoms like this, they're usually because if you have a symptom, you have to lose 40% function in a tissue, cell, or organ, and that has to be addressed when? Now, otherwise it still develops disease, okay? I thought I'd throw this in there, even though this is from 2009. Had a guy did not change his diet, did not change anything, and then went from here, 9 degree, 14 degree, you see that like this? Just went down to 7 and 13 because we were just clearing his nerve supply back then, right? And then just in that little a change, guess what happened to his diabetes? Full-blown diabetes, insulin-dependent diabetic. Just from his nerve supply. So do you think getting your adjustment actually helps with sugar metabolism? Yes. Like if you went on a bender, right? So instead of that vacation meal, it turned into a vacation weekend. Where's the absolute place you should be Monday morning for sure? Sitting on that table, letting somebody open things up again so that your body can deal with the stress that you just caused it to be under, right? So the gift that keeps on giving, the next phase of this year, so between now and the end of the year, we're going to be doing some really cool stuff. We want you guys to give the gift of life and health to people. And right, so this is a gift that we'll keep on giving for sure. And so we're doing a food drive. So this food drive right here, did you guys see this? Didn't they do a great job making this up? I love it. Did it? This is about 1/8 of the way full. I want to fill up about 10 of these, okay? And what it means is if every person here brought 5, 6 cans, or it doesn't have to be cans, and as soon as I start talking about food, you go, well, I can't bring bad stuff. Listen, eating is better than not eating, okay? So we had this conversation when I taught makeovers in Zimbabwe, Africa. I couldn't teach it the same way. I mean, because these people, it's either starve or eat something that's not necessarily the greatest, and I don't want any children this season going hungry because they didn't have food. And there's so much abundance in this room and at my house that the least we could do is grab a couple of cans or something, or a box of something, or whatever else that won't just go bad, and then throw it in a box. Got it? So if you would, over the next couple weeks, every time you go, maybe just grab a couple extra things, bring it in for your adjustment, fill these things up. We take pictures of stuff when we're driving it over, and it's just, or you can go with us if you want to. We've had patients go with us and drop it off over at MetroCrest. They are so appreciative, and it is so awesome to see it. And if you've never volunteered over at a place like that, you ought to. Okay, it's awesome stuff. Okay, but this is, again, we want to start with this if you guys haven't started. Again, some of you guys asked about this. There's recipes that take some of these things, so we wanted to make sure that this was 10% off as well. A lot of the cookies or brownies or chia seed pudding, these things have this stuff in there for recipes, and so make sure you get that. Also, this one will really help you, Max Greens, because it helps with the digestive tract. Some of you guys will eat bad, and you're not used to eating that bad, especially because you've been a patient for years and years, and then you'll go off the rails kind of like I do. That cherry pie tastes awesome going in, but it tears me up because I'm not used to eating bad stuff.
We need one when you come back.
We want, listen, I just would hate to be the source of horrible health, for sure. It's like, yeah, you could eat rat poison, but it tastes great. But Max Greens have live enzymes that will help the digestive tract lining really do really well through the holidays. So this is good. Yeah.
Do you have to take it cold or hot?
You can do it either way. I like it cold personally, but you can do it hot. If you get it like to a boiling point, you'll kill the live enzymes in it. So you don't want to get it too hot. Warm is more good. Because I don't eat a lot of sweet stuff, I actually really like the taste of it. If you drink it, like I put it in a water bottle and shake it up, if you drink it about 30 minutes before you eat any meal, you'll actually digest. You guys, if you're at the makeover, I showed you that thing where I put the live enzymes in the yogurt and then turn it upside down, turn it into water, right? Because it digested it. This will help you digest your food, especially like some of you guys are going to eat really big meals for Thanksgiving or Christmas, and you just, and it's like you can't move, and you're like in this diabetic like coma, and you're like trying to look around, where am I? Like this. If you will drink this 30 minutes before you eat that massive meal, it'll help you not be so destroyed by that meal, okay? So serious, it's a good way out. So a couple things coming up. Holiday dinner, everybody look. So when you plan your workouts and you plan your meals, all the rest, I want you to make sure you write down the 8th of December. Everybody that's a patient, you're not just a patient, you're a family member. I consider you part of my own family, and that means when we have our big dinners every year, we do one every year, not like community dinners where you guys bring all your guests. We want you to bring your guests to this one so they can experience family. But this is where I buy all the brisket and the turkeys, and I buy all the meat, and you guys bring a side dish or some kind of dessert or something like this, and we all have a blast together. We're going to go through what we accomplished this year, what our goals are for next year. We'll go through a couple of health things for all the guests there, so we give them some encouragement. But don't you miss this. So we make sure you write that down. The 8th of December. It's gotten so big that I don't think we can do it here anymore. We're going to do it over at the church again. Okay, so we're also going to be doing a lot of giveaways then too. Metabolics testing. Some of you guys have been losing amazing amounts of weight, getting crazy results with this. But let me say this, the lab, not us, the lab is raising the cost of the lab testing. Okay, so that's supposed to be November. We pushed them off till January, so we got a couple extra months. But it's going to go up in January. How much? I don't know. Maybe it's 25 bucks. Maybe it's 100 bucks. I don't know, but it's going to go up a little bit. It's 10% off tonight because Dr. Kimberly is going to do this and then another time in December. So if you've been wanting to do the testing, just see them at the front desk. They can get it, but it has to be this evening, and especially before the end of the year, January 1st. Okay? Got it? Metabolics testing. Also, this is the metabolics testing that actually changed me. You guys know that I was having a lot of health issues beginning of last year with my own health, a lot of things that we're doing with toxicity, and I had a couple metabolic processes that were shut down, and I get adjusted all the time. So I really couldn't figure out why I wasn't doing really well, because this is why I teach all the time. So I didn't know what was going on. And then when I got metabolically tested, Kimberly found huge holes in my metabolic rings, if you will, my body's ability to chemically make this thing turn like this. And as a result of finding those holes, putting it together, like who knew I needed 1,200 milligrams of CoQ10 a day when the pills you buy are 60 milligrams. I need 1,200 a day. Like I would never have guessed that. And those are for energy, by the way. Who would have thought I needed energy something help, right? But then guess what? Start taking it, and then boom, all of a sudden now I'm up at 4:30 in the morning doing amazing workouts, running, doing crazy stuff like I used to, and now I'm back. And I never would have looked at this. And some of you guys are still kind of on the fence. Listen, take the time, do the test, it's worth it. Holiday season action list. So this is where I want you, if you're taking pictures, take a picture of this screen. So number one, control stress. Don't overload your schedule. Number one thing to say, one of the most important words during the holiday season is the word N-O, no. It's harder to keep your schedule open than it is to fill it. And so if you just fill this thing up, right, because I want to have dinner with them, I'm going to have lunch and brunch with them, I want to go see my family over here, we'll do it to Arkansas. In fact, we'll go to Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, we'll go back this way, Missouri, right?
Right.
But then you spend this whole season, you're stressed out, you're over-traveled, you didn't sleep well, right? So don't overload your schedule. Work on creating peace. There's certain things that just create peace in my life. I like reading the Bible. When I read the Bible, my heart rate goes down. I feel loved. I feel like everything's going to be awesome all the time. And so that's something I do that I make sure that's in my schedule all the time. I'm going to do even more of it over the holidays. Something else that gives me peace is I like to go shoot. That's kind of funny, those two. I like to shoot guns. So I go to the range. I just love to do it. It's something I like to do. So I shoot targets. I take my son, I take my daughter, I take my wife, we go on a date. So plan time in doing something that you like to do that creates peace, okay? Include activities that create peace. That's what we're talking about. Spending time with people. Limit those time with people that don't, like, who's got that family where you know is coming and you're already kind of, I love them, but it's like, there's like an expiration date on the time that we should be spending together, right? And so limit the time with those people. Listen, don't plan on a 4-day weekend at their house. Go for the afternoon or overnight and then come back. You with me? Listen, it's your life. It's too short, okay? My parents, my wife loves my parents, but there's other family involved in there, and it's hard for us to be there with all the kids, and it's stressful sometimes. And so we go for a day or two or something like this. But I can tell you, we're running back to the house so we can create some more peace again, okay? And so that's the first one. Make all your adjustments, plus I would suggest to you guys as far as holidays go, because there's usually a little bit more stress no matter what you do, and dietary stuff is off the road. I would suggest an extra adjustment throughout the holidays. If it's not extra a week, maybe extra every other 2-3 weeks, something like this. So an extra adjustment. If you guys are once a week. If you're 3 times a week, throw an extra one in. You can even throw an extra one just on one trip. Come in a little bit earlier, get an adjustment, come back through again. Okay, you can do that. Oh, wait, stop. Also, have your nerve system functioning optimally. What does that mean when you're outside of the office? Do what?
Exercises,
Do your stuff. And if you travel, guess what should be with you?
all of that stuff.
Yeah. You're going to take your toothbrush, but not your traction? Really? Do I need to start checking bags? Number 3, eat advance plan, okay? Eat advance plan and plan your splurges. Plan it. It's okay. Listen, come with me. I'm pretty sure you guys would freak out if you saw some of this stuff. Actually, I walked through the office the other day. I was holding I took the wrapper off one of those chocolate bars, those healthy ones up front, and I was eating it, and I had somebody that's pretty new, and they didn't know it was one from the front. They thought it was like a Snickers bar. They almost passed out. They're like, you told me to do the advanced plan, you're eating it. You would freak out. It's okay. It's okay for me. It's okay for you. Plan your splurge, okay? Is that all right? Okay? And then commit to your workouts now. Even if it's the quick ones, right? But plan your workouts. Not just plan them, commit to it, okay? So it's down. If you don't write it down, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. You ought to write it down. You ought to write when you're going to do it, how long you're going to do it, and what you're going to do. Okay? If it has to change some, be committed to it, still do something, okay? But commit to it. And then plan on daily detox till January, at least a round or 2 of it, okay? But that is a simple way. Listen, if you did these 5 things, between now and January, would you be more fit? Would you be more lean? Would you be more, would you faster? Would you be better? Would you be healthier by January? Yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely 100%. Take me to the bank. In fact, if not, I'll guarantee it. I'll give you all the money you spend on anything back, just if you tried it, if you did it 100%. So let's do this. We're going to give a giveaway away. This is what we're giving. I think this is the giveaway basket right here. Yes? Right here? Awesome. So it comes with, there's actual vitamin D in there? Are you serious that we're giving away vitamin D? Like, so we're not giving away vitamin D today, but no. So we have, I guess we have one in the house. So do we have a time when this is coming, by the way? Do you know? You have vitamin D in the house? Did you hear that? We have vitamin D in the house. Did it just come? Praise God. That's awesome. We're also going to give away this. This is one of my favorite things in the whole world because I make chocolate chia seed pudding with it. We also make chocolate cookies with this. I make hot cocoa with this. All the things coming up. This will be a good thing for this week just for the hot cocoa.
Raise your hand if you don't have a ticket.
If you don't have a ticket, raise your hand. Shortino, Janie, Michelle. Awesome. It seems like I met you before. Yeah. Awesome. Here we go.
It's going to be a moment, just a moment.
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. All right, so let me explain this too. Hey, so before we're going to get these tickets out. Can you guys please write down as part of your game plan for success that you bring food? Can you do that for the food drive? Also, some of you guys have already talked to me about family either coming in town or friends that live here that you want to get checked out. Raise your hand if you've already talked to some people over the last week or 2 or month that you know need to be here to get a nervous system checkup. Just raise your hand up high. Go on. Oh, so like 3 of you? Really? So raise your hand if you know somebody that needs to have their nervous system checked or get healthy. Yeah, so everybody does. So just so you know, during the holidays, because we want to really bless people that are in need, they can come in and drop off food for the cost of their exam and x-rays. Did you get that? So bring me a couple bags of groceries and it covers your exam and your x-rays. Got it? I don't care if it's the cheapest stuff. Everybody with me? Is that cool? Is that awesome? Yeah. So just drop off, so like if you have friends that want to come in, you could drop off food for them and they could come in and get exam and x-rays and it's paid for. Or they could just bring food in. How about that?
To call and schedule the appointment on Monday?
Yes, call and schedule the appointment on Monday. Yes, because
For Monday.
For Monday, yeah. For Monday. Monday's the time that we're doing it. But this, we're going to give away, yep. So youngest man, I think it's youngest man in the room.
Are you doing 2 separate or 1 package?
One package.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. You guys ready?
Okay.
So we got 43882. Raise your hand if that's you so far. 43882. There's one more number. 438. Raise your hand if I'm on your.
the running?
Who's in the running? 4388229. Is that you? There she is. Yeah. There it is. Okay. Collins family bringing it home today. Excellent. Yeah. Give some applause. Something else that we're doing this holiday season is guys, your prayer for us is always so highly appreciated. We sit with some of the sickest people around, and our heart as a team is broken continually because we care about people. And this message can't get out fast enough. I mean, people just don't know what health is, and people think they're doing okay and they're eating this way and all these other things. They think they're doing good for prevention, getting a flu shot and getting something tested. That's not it. And so we want to get the message of health and life out to people as fast as we can, and we're doing that as much as we can to your businesses and your churches and places of worship, whatever else. And so we want to do something fun this year. And so about once a year we'll do something where we develop as many places to go and talk to your pastors or your HR department, whatever else. And so what we're going to do is I want every single person to fill out some of these, they're called leads cards, if you will, but every single lead that goes in there, so each card is basically, these are going to be the tickets this year. So drop them in there, we're going to move them all around, and then we're going to pick one out, and then we're going to give this away. You know what this is?
iPad.
That little tiny thin little thing, it's the new iPad Air. So it's the thinnest, smallest, coolest, fastest, whatever else. I'm a gadget guy, so you show me one of these, I'll walk a mile barefooted in glass to get one of these. And so it's just gonna be fun, okay? So it's not about iPads. Does everybody know that? It's not about getting an iPad. I mean, what's it gonna feel like? Better than an iPad is having somebody that works with you who is scheduled for surgery cancel it. Somebody that's a neighbor of yours whose child was on asthma medication who's now never has to take drugs again. That feels a lot better than using an iPad. But this makes it fun, okay? So I expect every single person to get involved. I'll be asking you guys, did you get one of these as you get adjusted through the holiday season? And so this table will be out from here until December 8th, and we're gonna give this away on December 8th. Okay, so at dinner, okay?